Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Josh. With me is Justin, and of course, Dirtbag Dave. Dave missed the show yesterday at noon. We had a really good priority waiver show, so make sure you check that out. That was a great show. Dave yelled at me.
Many people asking questions. All
Dave's
I don't know who yelled.
Dave, I read your text message as you yelling at me, and you're like, "Why didn't you invite me?"
I never yell. I never yell at you. I would never do that.
Sometimes.
First off, Dave, the invite link is always in the Twitter DM. So
I told Josh that I was asleep yesterday afternoon because I completely forgot what day it was and I did not go to work. So I woke up like 1 o'clock and I was like, "Oh yeah, there was a show today." Well, thanks for the reminder. My bad. On to the next one.
And all you other folks out there that did miss the 12 o'clock Tuesday show, our priority waiver show, make sure you go ahead and check it out if you want to. But we're there every single Tuesday at noon. Dave, you should know you're part of the show. You could also follow us on Twitter, like at OUSFFPod, at Just Kimmel OUS, at Viking Dave 18, and at Justin Bowerly. Make sure you follow at Fins Talk Sports Network. We have a lot of Dolphins content coming up every single day almost. And of course, the Dolphins rule. So stick for that. Don't give me that side eye just because your team suck, both y'all. Hey, look, my team has sucked for years. Right? I have never had the Minnesota Miracle in the playoffs. I never had Super Bowls with Peyton Manning. I've had mediocre. So let me enjoy this. But Discord comments below are in the description. Join our Discord. Hey, guys, we got some starts and sits. We got some would you rather. So let's kick it off with starts and sits of the week. Justin, our first starts and sits of the week is Sam Howell or Jared Goff. I believe this isn't a question. This is a written in stone. I want you people to start Sam Howell over Jared Goff. We went over this yesterday, and hopefully you picked him up, and hopefully he's rostered in more than 39% of the leagues. Dave, do you agree with this take or not?
First of all, why are you guys in the chat talking about this is for the season long? I got my research, and now all of a sudden you're talking about start systems this week. You know what?
Hold on,
I'm done.
You're talking about another segment of the show. This is just a general sit.
You can't give me two different things at once. What are you talking about?
We gave Dave
I'm like,
too much.
I said golf, no. And you're like, okay, that's for tomorrow. We'll talk about who would you rather have the rest of the season. I'm like, that's easy for me. And now we're talking about starts and seats.
Finally, and
Dave did no homework.
All mixed up.
Dave did no homework. Dave has no.
I want Jared Goff. I don't know who they're playing. But I want Jared Goff.
He did notes.
I have some notes, for the season long, not for right now. For today, I don't even know who they play. I have no idea who either one of them plays.
Baltimore.
Oh wait, Washington plays the Giants. I know that.
Yeah, Washington plays at New York. Jared Goff goes to Baltimore to play the Ravens.
I mean, that's close. I like Howell. First of all, can we not spell Howell's name right?
I just realized that I'm an idiot.
Howell. That's our new name for him. He's so awesome. We broke it down yesterday on the show. The dude is money on the road, especially over 19 fantasy points per game on the road. He's going to New York. New York gives up the booty to everyone. They even gave it up to didn't they just give it up to who they play last? It was a disaster.
Who, Washington?
Who?
No, New York. The G.
Oh, New York.
I don't know. They get Buffalo. No, they played Buffalo really good.
Buffalo really good. Miami.
They should have won that game.
Miami shredded them. Yeah, they should have won that game.
Miami just shreds almost everybody except for Buffalo.
Almost everyone except for Buffalo, which is insane to me. Which we all know on this. Start Jonathan Taylor. Eric 3436. Is the sky blue? No, it's
unless you have those three guys that whoever was talking about the other day with Kamara and Saquon and somebody else, then yes, you start Jonathan Taylor.
Start Jonathan Taylor on the show. Justin, you have a little side eye. Like, I don't know about that.
I don't know if I start him this week.
Why not?
I would if I have to.
Unless you absolutely have to. I don't think I start him this week. I have him in 2 leagues. I'm not starting him this week. But
freaking Moss keeps getting all the damn work. I'm over it.
Well, we talked about this yesterday, how Moss's snap count went from 100% to 50% in literally a week with Jonathan Taylor back. However, like I said yesterday, they play the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns have the best defense against the running back in fantasy this year so far. That defense is not a joke. And with Gardner Minshew going for the rest of the season. There's no potential run threat from the quarterback, so it's stack the box. Everybody learned what Jacksonville did. Stack the box with 7 people at all times. Gardner Minshew's not getting it done. So I'm not starting them against the Browns next week. This week.
That could have been a hot take on our call, but we're talking about Sam Howell and Jared Goff. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, but I would start Jonathan Taylor if you have no other options. But if you have options, if you have luxuries, no one does. There's so many bye weeks. There's so many injuries. So you're telling me with all the bye week players, Derrick Henry and the likes, and all the injuries, the Kyron Williams and everyone else, you kind of have to start Jonathan Taylor because there's no other options.
I mean, yeah. If you have, like I said, if you have no other options, yeah, it's clear that you have to start Jonathan Taylor. But I'm saying if you've gone through 6 weeks of the season, hopefully you have another option to start. And that's the resident Colts fan saying that. So
here's the people on bye. You got the Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders situation. You have Joe Mixon. You have Tony Pollard. You have Dameon Pierce. You have Breece Hall, and you have Derrick Henry on bye. I just named Breece, Henry, Pollard, all top 10 guys. Joe Mixon's a star. He's been average this year, but he's a guy you always want to start. I mean, that's a lot of guys that are missing this week. A lot. I just named a bunch of relevant fantasy players that are just out because of bye. So yes, you must start. I mean, if your other option is Jerick McKinnon or someone, don't get cute. Start your studs, man. Start your studs. That's why we're starting Sam Howell over Jared Goff. You want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, I finally just fixed Sam Howell's name, but we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Let's go to the running backs.
Oh man, now this is into the Zach Moss situation. They are playing against Cleveland. His snap share has gone down tremendously since Jonathan Taylor's return. Ramondre Stevenson's the guy we like this week. We like him all year. He hasn't been the top 4 guy I predicted. I'm sorry, but they are playing Buffalo. They're at home.
He's closer to RB55 than he is closer to RB4. Probably.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Dave.
I mean, is it not? I mean, where is he at right now?
You guys are assholes.
He's not that far down, but go ahead.
He scored 18 points last week. He's running back 26. Jerks.
Well, I supposed to give him the freaking ball. They keep wanting to give fucking Zeke the ball.
Hold on, that was weeks 4. I have it weeks 4 through 6. Let me.
He's RB21 right now.
RB21. That's all right. I mean, that's okay.
I mean, yeah, it's not terrible.
If he didn't have week 6 though, I mean, what was he week 1 through 5?
Hey, we're not
awful. Talking 18 points in 6.
Hey, he's ahead
That's
of Rachaad White.
Season total.
Didn't he get hurt this week too?
He was hurt in the he got hurt in the game but came back.
I think he came back.
He still scored 18 fantasy points. He's still a beast in the air. Look, the problem is with the problem is with Ramondre. They can't stay on the field. That offense is ass. Zeke's more involved than we thought he was going to be, at least for me.
And you thought he would be.
Yes,
you don't sign guys like that very often and have them just be irrelevant unless you got to worry about Breece Hall, who's a beast. Ramondre does not fit that mold. And plus, you got Belichick. The Belichick factor always going to fit in.
But it's not like
to account for that.
But we know Ramondre's getting like 60% of the carries, and we know Zeke's getting the other 40. It's not like they're mixing other guys in there for pure strong, like you said. No, it's been a healthy stretch of Ramondre and
Ramondre this week over Zach Moss.
Yes. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, we just talked about why you shouldn't even start Jonathan Taylor, but don't start Zach Moss against the Cleveland Browns defense. Ramondre Stevenson is the pick here. We have a follow-up from Eric. His other 2 options are Javonte Williams and Zach Evans. So, start Jonathan Taylor,
Evans. You can start Evans.
Yeah,
I would not want to start Javonte unless I had to.
Yeah, I would start Evans and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Raphael, he's here every single week, so I do want to get to him. Chiefs are getting a wide receiver from the Jets. Should people pick up Listen.
Which receiver?
McCole Hardman.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So,
I can't. No wonder why
because he knows the team, and clearly KC knows that their receivers are dog fucking everything. They're terrible, and I think this is a good thing. But I don't think he's going to be good enough to where you were going to want to start him. Like he's not Tyreek Hill. You know.
Here's what I'll say: is we weren't starting him when he was there before.
Yeah.
We're not starting him now. He's just going to be. This is an upgrade from Mahomes.
I think this says more about the rest of the wide receivers than it does about Hardman. They're just not good. They're just not good. They're not good. Besides Kelsey, they have no other options.
Rashee Rice has been flashing.
He's decent.
He's been flashing. He's had some. Mm-hmm. What are you eating, Dave?
Chocolate.
Is that Reese's? Is that Hershey's? What are you eating?
Love dark chocolate.
Shouldn't you be drinking like cranberry juice and not eating chocolate, Dave?
I got steroid shots today, so
okay.
I'm like a
Does
new
dark
man
chocolate have sea salt? That's the real question.
Oh, those are the good ones. No,
Those
this
are
one
the
does
good
not.
ones. That's
Those
the
are good
only
ones.
way I'll eat dark chocolate.
I
is
love
with
those
the sea
ones.
salt.
Okay, can
So
someone
good.
put in the trade JSN for Rashid Rice situation? I'm gonna say no
Ooh.
because it's unfair. It's unfair to judge Rashid JSN when Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are in front of him. Those are two bona fide studs and have been for their entire career. Rashid Rice is going against Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, and other bums. That's how he's getting playing time. And if you're playing,
Okay, but you got to factor it in.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
well, you do.
Who's doing better right now? That's the thing. Who is doing
Rice
better?
is being pretty decent. Like he's not terrible. JSN should be on your waiver wire. The only reason he should be on your team is if you have an extra bench spot and you're like, you know what, I hope Lockett or Metcalf get hurt. Yeah. That's really the only way he's going to contribute this season. It looks like. I mean, he's just been irrelevant, completely irrelevant.
We don't hope anyone gets hurt.
You know what I mean, idiot.
We don't hope anyone gets hurt.
I hope you get hurt.
Listen,
that's what I hope.
You have insurance if Lockett or
you hurt me all the time.
DK gets hurt.
I just don't want to buy into Rashid Rice. Although I do have him on my fantasy rosters. He's on my. I have him on a lot.
You started him in the league last week or something. I remember you asking me about him.
I was like, he's decent. I benched him. I did not. I did ended up not starting him, and I
started
regret it.
Who didn't do anything for you either.
I won them. I lost.
That freaking bum.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I started T Higgins over Rashid Rice, and I almost didn't. So I'm for it, but I'm also against it because I do think that we can see a blow up of JSN later in the season. Where I think we are seeing what Rashid Rice is going to be all season: splash plays, 4 catches, and you hope that he goes deep once in a while. Should I trade Nico Collins for Puka Nacua?
Yes.
Yes.
That's pretty close, but I would probably say yes.
We're going to talk about Nico later in the show.
Yeah.
So stick around because Nico Collins is going to be a hot topic on the Would You Rather roster this person. And I do want to get to Bingwin02 YT's question. Start sit PPR, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex, half. He has Hall, Chase, T, Wilson on bye. Okay, running backs are Jacobs, Ford, Jonathan Taylor. Are you playing in a 8-man league? Rashad White. Wide receivers are JSN, Christian Watson, Olave, and Godwin.
Okay, you're automatically starting Jacobs. You're automatically starting Olave. I mean, those are 2 automatics. I think you probably start Ford. He's been getting work. I think Watson has a good matchup, I believe. I'd probably start him, and I'd probably start Godwin.
Green Bay's going against Denver, so I definitely want to smash Christian Watson in there. So Christian Watson, Olave for me. Jacobs.
I mean, Ford or JT. Ford hasn't been terrible.
It's hard to sit JT because he is easing back in. It's his 3rd week, and last week we saw a lot of receptions, a lot of targets out of the backfield, which I didn't expect. But, man, it's hard to pack up Ford against that Colts defense. That's juicy. And, yes, Godwin, Christian Watson, Olave.
The nice thing about JT is that he does get he had 6 targets from Minshew last week.
Yeah, Moss had
He's got
6
a
catches.
lot of dump offs.
No, but Jonathan Taylor did too.
guy.
And I think when Minshew's going to panic, he is going to dump it down to Taylor. That's why I'm okay with starting Taylor because he is going to get the targets.
Yeah. Don't start Taylor for the rushing yards this week, but start him for those receptions.
In the running back upside, they want to get him in the end zone. And if they get it by the goal line, he's going to be the one getting the carries, not Zach Moss. You should know that, right, Justin? Hopefully.
Yeah, really? Because who scored the touchdown the last 2 weeks?
Hey.
Simple shit.
Simple. Dave, we're a family.
I don't know. I was in Mexico.
We're a family-friendly show, Dave.
I know who it was. It wasn't Jonathan Taylor. Trust me.
All right. Who's the next guys on our list? Who are the next people we are starting? Devontae Smith versus Miami. DJ Moore, we're sitting against Las Vegas. This one's pretty simple to me. They have this terrible quarterback coming in, even worse than Justin Fields. I don't know how that's possible. I have a worse quarterback than Justin Fields.
Looked better than he led the only touchdown drive last week. So you tell me.
DJ Moore was not getting targeted last week. It was pretty pathetic.
It's because the Vikings locked his ass up. He's not good. He's not scoring 55-yard touchdowns and running around the entire defense.
That's true too. I feel like Devontae Smith's going to go off, but Justin, you talk about this.
He is due for one.
Mm-hmm. Well, the issue here as of today is Devonta Smith is dealing with a hamstring issue and did not practice today. So that's going to be something that you're going to want to pay attention to this week if you have these 2 guys. DJ Moore is going to be the only target for the Bears. Tyson Bagent is not good. So he's going to want to get DJ the ball the most.
DJ the more.
DJ the more. If Devonta Smith is playing, you start him, no question.
Yeah, especially against Miami. I feel like it's gonna be a very high scoring game, a very fun game to watch. Sunday Night Football. It's gonna be fun. Is it Sunday Night Football?
We finally got a good Sunday night game. I'm excited.
Yeah, Sunday night. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that one.
And it's gonna be a fun game, and there're gonna be a lot of points. I expect a lot of points. I'm starting to bond it. And guys, these start sits. These are like real scenarios that you may have on your team. We're not giving you like, yeah, start this awesome guy and bench this terrible guy. No, you possibly could roster both of these guys, and we're telling you, if it comes down to it, I'm starting Devonta Smith over DJ Moore.
Guys, start Jamar Chase, sit Justin Jefferson. I'm gonna just say that right now.
Yep, I would do that too.
Smart.
I would do that too. Now we're going to the tight end position because I do want to get to this because it's important. We are starting Luke Musgrave against Denver because Denver.
No, we're not.
Justin, school this guy.
Tell
this guy. Dave. Tell this guy what's up.
Dave,
go ahead.
Everybody scores against Denver. They are the worst team against the tight end position. Damn it, Josh, where are all my notes? I got prepped for yours. They give up literally the most points against.
And it's not even close.
Not even close.
It's like pathetic how bad. And plus, if you look at this, Dave, Gerald Everett, I do like him. I really do. But I'm so scared at that whole offense. Justin Herbert nursing that fractured finger on his non-throwing arm or hand. Keenan Allen's going to get targeted the most. Gerald Everett's kind of a splash play. You hope he scores a touchdown. With Luke Musgrave, I guarantee I'm putting my name on it. He will score a touchdown against Denver, and he will produce 10 or more PPR points.
Over the last 3 weeks, Denver has given up tight end 1 numbers to the 2 tight ends, Cole Kmet and Travis Kelce, on Thursday Night Football, and that was in one half for Travis Kelce, not even the second half. If you're giving that many points up to Cole Kmet, they're going to give that many points to Luke Musgrave. Let's just be honest, guys. Denver gives up a lot of points to the tight ends. That's why I'm smashing the Luke Musgrave button this week.
They can't cover.
Starting.
The linebackers can't cover. They don't know how to. They honestly have no idea what's going on. Sean Payton is running around calling timeouts for the other team.
Well, they're selling their entire team too. So
I think Sean Payton's like reading his playbook this way. Like he's like, all right, guys, run. He has no idea what's happening.
He's like, man, where's Drew Brees at when I need him?
Right.
Yeah. I think.
How do you have like literally Drew Brees, the same size, the same like everything, but you suck still? Like
Russell Wilson is not even close. He's not even close to what Drew Brees was.
Compared Russell Wilson to Drew Brees when he first came to the league.
Why? Because he's short.
Yeah.
Do we see the differences between Geno Smith and Geno Smith in Seattle and what he's doing? He's pretty much not as mobile, obviously, as Russ, but the deep balls, the moon balls, those are happening. It's just not getting highlighted to Tyler Lockett. So I'm sure that was more on the offense than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, we're not talking about, but was a product of that offense and of that coaching staff.
I said since 2012 that Russell Wilson was literally only successful because he was inserted into a team that just needed somebody to play quarterback.
Yep, agree. So let's get into some player debates because I feel like this is going to be fun. I feel like the would you rather topic is going to be super fun because Dave in our little group chat was, I'm picking this guy with no evidence, no facts, no nothing.
Easy.
So easy, simple S, walk the plank, whatever he says. So let's get into our first one. Do you want to start with the quarterbacks? Sam Howell versus Trevor Lawrence. Who would you rather have rest of the season? Not this week, not weeks 1 through 6. Who would you rather have going forward like the season started today? Sam Howell, Trevor Lawrence. Dave, go.
Trevor Lawrence.
Why?
Because that's who I want. Because I don't trust Washington. I don't trust Sam Howell. I think Trevor Lawrence is better. I think he's a better player. I think he has better players around him. And that's who I trust right now. I don't think Sam Howell will end up the season higher than Trevor Lawrence. I think if the truth is, if any of you had Howell on your team, you had the chance to trade him straight up for Trevor Lawrence, you would do it in a second, and you're lying to yourself if you say otherwise. Next question. Go ahead, bring your little facts that you got, because there's no way you can argue me that. Like, go ahead, I want to hear it.
You know what?
I want to hear it because there's no way you can literally tell me that if you had Sam Howell, you would not trade him for Trevor Lawrence straight up. You're lying to yourself if you think that. Go ahead.
You don't even know which side I'm taking.
I don't know what side to take. I just know that I'm right. That's all I know.
I was offered Alex, and this is a big one. We got to pause, time out, because I got to recoup because he's throwing out these nonsense. Would you trade Josh Jacobs and Hawkinson for Bijan?
Yes. Take Bijan now, 100%. I don't know who your tight end is. I'd still rather have Bijan.
I'm taking Jacobs and Hawk. Strictly because this season, my whole get tight end early. All my redraft leagues where I have Hawkinson or Kelsey, I'm doing fucking awesome. I'm not worrying about it. I'm not stressing about, I got to get Gerald Everett. I got to get this. I want to keep with my guy in Jacobs. We'll talk about later. He's more dominant than you think he is right now based on receptions and targets.
He's getting a ton of catches. I know he's good. I'm not saying he's not good. I'd just rather have Bijan, but I get the other side.
Yeah. All right. So I had wrote down a good old pros and cons list for each player today because that's what you do when you decide logical decision making. And I'll give you some pros for Sam Howell. He is top 5 in passing attempts. He's number 1 according to Player Profiler in money throws. He's number 4 in completion percentage right now. Sam Howell has been money. Sam Howell has been very, very good for where you drafted him and where he is. He's currently quarterback 12 right now in fantasy points, whereas Trevor Lawrence is quarterback 15 right now. Trevor Lawrence has been a disappointment for fantasy. We all know that. It's been documented. We expected him to be way, way higher in the rankings. The problems with Sam Howell is who he played. He's played pretty much nobody. He's played against bottom of the barrel defenses. If you really look at the numbers, he's put up baller numbers against nobodies, against the likes of New York Giants, Seattle, all these bum ass teams. But when he played Buffalo, he threw 4 picks and couldn't see the field right, couldn't read a defense. Buffalo really, really ate his lunch that day. He's also the number 6 in danger plays. He's also 5th most in interceptable passes. That's something you want to look forward when he does play. He threw 4 picks against Buffalo. 4. Now, when he plays against a good defense again, is he going to throw 4 picks again? Because he is throwing these danger balls. He just strictly is. But that's kind of what I want my fantasy quarterback. I want him to sling the ball. Now you go to Trevor Lawrence. What does he do best? I told you all season. This is why I was avoiding Calvin Ridley. This is why I was all over Christian Kirk. He just throws 7 yards of completion. That's all he does. Just dump. Just do. No risk. No, just boom. Christian Kirk. Boom. Travis Etienne. Boom. Evan Ingram. He's just a check down magnet. Weeks 2 through 5 for Trevor Lawrence. He's quarterback 18, 14.2 fantasy points per game. I bring up 2 through 5 because those are the only games he did not play Indianapolis. When he played the Colts, he lit them up both times. Week 1 with Calvin Ridley, we saw it. And then again, he lit up Indianapolis. Weeks 2 through 5, guess what? He didn't play the Colts, and he sucked. Just the bottom line. It is what it was. He just wasn't producing football numbers. Was it because Etienne's balling? Probably. Etienne does lead the league in rushing attempts. So that could be a possibility. Trevor Lawrence does have the better duo with Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley, even throw in Evan Ingram. He does have he's very accurate. But that's because he does throw the ball short and check down a lot. That's just what he does. So you're telling me going forward, who would I want? The guy who's going to sling the ball, take chances, get me fantasy points, throw it down to McLaurin, or a guy who's going to play it safe and get me 15 points a week?
I also want to note that Howell has the 11th easiest schedule for defenses against the quarterback. Lawrence has the hardest schedule against quarterbacks in fantasy football going down the stretch. And weeks 4 through 6, the last 3 weeks, Howell's been QB4, whereas Lawrence was QB13, and he played, like Josh said, played against Indianapolis. I'm going Howell.
I think I'm going Howell too. I think I'm going Howell because of the upside of the gunslinger mentality he has, the offense that they're running over there with Curtis Samuel, with Terry McLaurin, and Dotson has been trash, but the enemy's wanting to make a name for himself. He wants to be a head coach. So what is he going to do? He's going to continue this offense. Whereas Trevor Lawrence, they're just trying to get the playoffs. They're just trying to win. They're going to play it safe if they have to. If they have a lead, they're just going to let Etienne run the ball down their throats. I'm just going Howell. I think Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback in real life, but Sam Howell for fantasy to lead my team, I'm taking Sam Howell. It's like the Jameis Winston effect. Just less interceptions.
Yeah. Questions?
Dave, did I at least sell you, Dave? Did you at least go, Josh made some good points?
No.
Damn.
You didn't. I still think you're lying. I still think I'm you know what I'm doing right now? I'm looking to see if I have Howell in any leagues that you guys have Lawrence. That's what I'm doing, and I'm going to offer you the trade because I guarantee you guys will not accept it.
I don't roster Lawrence anywhere, so.
But I don't think that's gonna. I'm gonna get lucky enough. But it's fine.
In the chat, did I make some good points?
Listen, you gotta make good points, and I like Sam Howell. Listen, in our Royal Flush League, I have both, so I'm good with both.
Let's hear from
I just think you're lying to yourself
here.
If you would do that.
Would you rather have Howell?
Put it in the chat.
Based off the facts versus opinions, who are you taking, guys?
You guys wearing for the okay? Hold on, I got some questions. Trade away Collins, Flowers, Wilson, or Pittman. For who?
I was gonna say for who. We need more.
Like we just need to trade one. I'm trading Nico Collins.
Get a receiver. Get a running back. That's what I meant. Get a running back.
Got another question from GMB Jeff 021. Sup, fellas? Should I start Christian Watson? Yes. Deontay Johnson or Osborne from the Vikings? I thought it was Osborne from Spider-Man. Damn. Deontay Johnson, he's coming off of. I wouldn't start him because I want to see it before I do it.
I'm starting Christian Watson. Receiver 1.
Christian Watson against Denver, all day, every day, and also Jaylen Warren or Elijah Mitchell. Man,
God, that sucks.
That's gonna be an all-week thing because he plays Monday night.
I'm sorry, bro.
He plays
Warren.
They play Monday night, and CMC is questionable. And
sounds like he's gonna play though.
It does. Likely. And then you'll be sitting there with Eli Mitchell giving you nothing, whereas Jaylen Warren can at least give you some catches. I'd play it safe there.
I think so.
I'd play it safe. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going Sam Howell, Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry, Dave. I do love Lawrence.
That's fine. You're wrong, but you guys are wrong a lot, so it's okay.
I mean, I haven't been wrong much this year. I've been pretty good this year. Chris Olave.
Those are some fighting words, man.
Chris Olave is the wide receiver 21 right now, currently, or Brandon Ayuk, who's currently the wide receiver 18. Who would you rather have going forward? Justin.
I would rather have Brandon Ayuk. This one is tough because they're both kind of middle of the road over the 3-week spans. Olave's total right now is wide receiver 21. He started the season wide receiver 12, and over the last 3 weeks he's been wide receiver 42, and he has the 21st easiest schedule against the wide receivers. He is the wide receiver 1 option though. Brandon Ayuk, I believe, is now also the wide receiver 1 option, especially with Debo being hurt. He's currently wide receiver 18. Started the season as 31, but he has moved up to 16. He has really moved up to wide receiver 1 status. I mean, technically, they're both wide receiver 2s right now. His strength of schedule is a lot easier. The 49ers are just using him a lot better with CMC taking a lot of the pressure off the receivers. Debo on the other side of him. There's just more targets for the 49ers to have to cover, whereas with the Saints, you have Olave, and is Michael Thomas still relevant? I don't even know.
50 yards a game.
I haven't really heard anything about Michael Thomas at all this year, so that just tells you enough there. I'm taking Ayuk over Olave.
Dave, I'm sure
you're wrong.
The Olave side. Yep, there it goes.
This is honestly pretty easy to me, and I'll explain to you why. Brandon Ayuk, his game log, 32, 7, 20, 9, 11. He either has a huge game or he's irrelevant. That's just, there's too many, like you said, there's too many weapons in San Francisco. That's 100% true. It'll be a Debo game. It'll be a CMC game. Ayuk will have a good game. It'll go back and forth. There's too much, variance there. Olave, who's had one like bad game, and he had a 9-point game. He had a 1-point game. Did he get hurt that game? Maybe, I don't remember. 19, 14, 18, 16. He had 2. He had a 1 and a 9. I just want the number 1 guy on the team. That Ayuk. I actually think Ayuk's a really, really good player. For fantasy, Olave is just better. He's more consistent, and he doesn't have to deal with a Debo and all of these other guys for targets. He just doesn't. It's him. And yeah, you say you can double him, but he's still producing. So I would take Olave pretty easily, honestly. And I like Ayuk a lot. I really do. I just think Olave is better.
GMB Jeff, I'm going to address your team in shambles, and we're going to give you some tips on how to improve that team with some trade options. But let me get to Chris Olave and Brandon Ayuk. This one was up in the air for me. It's very difficult because Chris Olave is the number 1 there, but the biggest con I wrote on the pros cons list is Derek Carr. This guy's been total ass this year. I know he's been hurt, but it just seems like he can't get in rhythm. He can't figure it out. My problem with Chris Olave is he's not a touchdown guy. He had 4 last season as a rookie. This year he only has 1. Just when they get in the red zone, they don't look for him. They'd rather look for Jimmy Graham. They'd rather run the ball with Kamara or one of their running backs. They'd rather use Taysom Hill, and that's an issue. All right, the touchdowns upside is limited. So if he's not catching a deep ball for a touchdown, he's not getting a touchdown. That we had that problem with DJ Moore for years, and we still have it. And it's just it hampers your fantasy production when you don't get into the end zone. Right now, Ayuk has more touchdowns than Olave, but it's only by 1. But still, when I feel like Brandon Ayuk has bigger touchdown upside than Olave. Then you go to Olave.
Ayuk hasn't scored since week 1.
Olave has only scored 1 week.
Okay, so it's Ayuk.
So I'm just saying. What would you rather have? The best team in the NFC?
The guy that had the one big blow-up game and every other week has almost been trash?
Oh, you want to talk about blow-up game? I remember looking at Olave's stats. He was wide receiver 118 1 week, like 3 weeks ago. Yeah. I just told you about his 1-point game. So how was that? That's not that much difference than Ayuk's 7-point game. Like, which is more often 7-point game, that's a 9-point game, another 9-point game, 11-point game. That's 4 out of 6 games. He's been at 11 or less. No,
and 2 big games.
I didn't tell you I'm taking Ayuk, Dave.
Okay, I'm just making the point. You're like, Ayuk scored touchdowns. He had 1 game where he went off and scored 2 touchdowns. That's all I'm saying.
He scored. That's almost half the touchdowns Olave scored all year last year. I'm just saying, Olave's not a touchdown guy, and he doesn't have the red zone numbers, and that's a fact. Pros about Chris Olave: he's got a nice stretch coming up: Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Chicago, Minnesota. Justin brought up the strength of schedule. I love that format. Well, those 4 teams in a row. I love that. Brandon Ayuk's getting 32% of the target share in San Francisco. Olave is only getting 25. So even though Olave is the number 1, Brandon Ayuk is getting a bigger target share. That's just a fact. But the problem is, they don't throw the ball a lot. They're 30th.
I was just gonna say, I'm glad you brought that up because I was about to call you out for that.
Dave,
but go ahead.
I come with facts.
You better.
Right?
You better.
Facts.
I got you.
I come from facts from one side and the other, buddy.
Saying, Drake London's getting a 50% target share because they throw the ball 15 times a game.
Like I said, Dave, I'm fair and just. They are 30th in the league in passing attempts, so they don't throw the ball a ton. So that's why the whole 32% works out. He does have 18.2 yards per catch, which is 6th in the NFL. He's a big play talent. Like, he's just a big play guy. Olave's more of the volume guy. That's okay. At the end of the day, I'm going Olave because he is still – even with the yards per catch, with Brandon Ayuk and the big play potential and the yards after the catch, which he has way more than Olave. Olave is number 1 in the NFL with deep targets. He has the most deep targets in the NFL. He is number 2 in air yardage. So he is getting the ball down the field. It's just he's not really converting with the touchdowns like we want. I'm sticking with Chris Olave with that cake schedule, with the they have to throw the ball a ton because they are down a lot, even though they do have Derek Carr. If he does get hurt, I don't pray for hurt people, but Jameis Winston can step in, whereas Brock Purdy is all they pretty much have over there. I'm sticking with Olave. He is their number 1 guy. He is their alpha. Ayuk is not their alpha in San Francisco. That's CMC.
So you guys have probably got me to come around. The only thing I'm really worried about Olave is when you get to the fantasy championship in week 17, do you know who they play?
Who?
Tampa Bay. Do you know who they played when he only scored 1 point?
Yeah, Tampa Bay owns New Orleans. I get that.
So if you're okay getting all the way to the championship and then Olave just shitting the bed, go with Olave.
You cannot play your whole season.
You can't base it off of 1 week.
Stop.
Looking at last year, he had great games all throughout the season, except for the 2 games he also played against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's something. But hey, you got to get there. You have to get to the championship to shit the bed in the championship.
The rest of my team will make up for what Olave doesn't get to.
All right, we're done with this one. Hey, I do want to this GMB Jeff guy. I feel bad for him. He's got Connor on IR. He's got Montgomery hurt. Don't we all? T. Higgins is not a trash can. He's got bruised ribs. Give him a break. He has Jordan Love, ETN, Christian Kirk, Christian Watson, Kelsey. Still a good team. I saw Laporta get traded for Christian Watson this week. Now, I know Dave's shaking his head, but there are people out there that think Laporta is, and he is special, but you can probably get a special wide receiver for him.
Somebody needs a tight end or trade Kelsey and get a stud. You got Laporta.
That's
Trade
my
Kelsey and get a
That was
stud.
my thing. Is
That was my next
trading
option.
Kelsey, get him off your team to
Get
someone
two
that
players.
needs the tight end, get 2 players, 2 starting players.
You can get 2 really good players for him, probably.
Yes, that's how I'd fix your shambled team. I would definitely, because you have the luxury of having Laporta, the tight end too. You can move Kelsey. Someone's going to buy him.
Or, I mean, you can always try to throw out Laporta and see what comes. Maybe if somebody will give you a really good player and you can keep Kelsey, that'd be even better. But I would offer a tight end to a team that someone has to want. Everybody wants tight ends. There's literally like 3 or 4 good ones.
Mm-hmm. He's 5-1. I'm on Celtics 5-1. Should I trade Michael Pittman?
Yes.
For Justin Jefferson?
1,000%.
If you can get that done, yeah, do it.
1,000,000%.
His other receivers are CD, Keenan Allen, D-Hop, Josh Palmer, McLaurin. Yes.
Do it.
And Kelsey.
100%.
Pittman doesn't have AR anymore.
Yep, I would 1,000% do that. On to the next player debate. Another set of receivers. These are some big ones, big names. Adam Thielen, wide receiver 3 on the season versus Nico Collins, wide receiver 11. Who would you rather have rest of the season? I'll start with Dave this time since I started with Justin.
Listen, I don't understand it. I can't explain it. I don't know how Adam Thielen is so good. I love him, but I did not see this coming. I drafted him in 0 teams. I thought he would be a waiver wire guy. You could pick up, start every now and then, but he has been awesome. I don't know how and I like Nico Collins, but I mean, listen, since week 1, he had 3 points. He's had 20 points, 31, 15, 27, 28. He is balling. He's not like he had one 50-point game. And you know what I mean? Like, he is balling. He's an automatic start. He's a top 5 guy right now. He's proving it. Will he stay that way all season? I don't know. But as much as I think Nico Collins is a solid player, I think Thielen right now is an elite player. And right now I'd take Thielen easily because it's almost like the Olave thing. There's really no other good options. Like, their running backs aren't that good. Sanders, even when he plays, is average. The number 2 is Chark or something. I don't even know who their tight end is. I mean, it's Thielen all day long. And
Dalton Schultz, Mr. two-time touchdowns.
Talking about Carolina.
Oh, my bad. I thought we were talking about Nico Collins.
Thank you.
Right. Hold on.
Who, Chark?
No, the freaking
Mingo?
the tight end guy.
I don't even know what
Tommy Trimble, baby. Tommy Trimble.
Exactly. I don't know how he's doing it. Apparently, Bryce Young loves him. He's getting open, and he's killing it. He is absolutely killing it. I wish I had him in the league. I didn't draft him in one league. I didn't see it coming. It's Thielen, and I just don't know how you can really argue against it, to be honest, even though I really think Collins is a solid player. Versus Thielen, it's I can't see it. I just can't.
Justin?
I have 0 arguments with Dave's argument.
Okay.
I mean, Adam Thielen's just targeted more even. I mean, his weakest game, if you look outside the Atlanta game in week 1, was against Minnesota, where he was targeted 8 times and he still scored 15.5 points. You can't pass that up. Tank Dell is going to come back for Houston. He's going to take up more targets from Nico, and Nico's even lost targets since Tank Dell's been out. I don't foresee him. He's another one just like Ayuk versus Olave. If you're looking for the boom every now and then, Nico Collins is your guy. If you want that consistent player that's going to score you 15 to 20 to 30 points every game, go Thielen. This is a good question, but it's not really like a good question.
It's hard to debate the other way around. Right now, really it's too hard.
He's clearly the number 1 option on the entire offense. I mean, he didn't get used in Minnesota because they had Justin Jefferson. I mean, he was still good.
I almost put Thielen versus Puka. That would have been
good.
That would have been a really good one.
But I wanted to see if anyone would take the bait with Nico because it's clearly Thielen on this side. But I do want to warn everyone. Thielen has a major history, and Dave should know, of starting out hot the first 9 games and then fading away like he always does. He's been doing it since that one magical 2018, 2020, 2019 year. Ever since then, he's been phenomenal weeks 1 through 8, on top of the world, averaging 5 bajillion points a game, and then all of a sudden he just fades into obscurity.
I mean, he's been injured in those seasons too,
and that's in his age. He's 33 years old, and 33-year-old receivers do get hurt. It's just the bottom of the line. It's just the way life is. I wrote on the cons list for Thielen, he's too efficient, way too efficient for his age. It's unreal. He has a history of dying, he's had cake matchups, guys. He's played Seattle, Minnesota, Detroit, Miami. Miami could be had on the air. We know that. Detroit can too. Minnesota can too. And so obviously Seattle. But he also does have an upcoming Houston, Indianapolis, and Chicago. He's averaging 11.4 targets per game. He has the number one slots snaps in the world. That's why he's so efficient. He's playing the slot. He's getting open, and he's the only receiver that young rookie quarterback can trust. There's no one else. Jonathan Mingo's not getting open. He's not getting separation. He's just not. I thought this one would be a lot closer when I wrote it down in the text messages last night when I was laying in bed, but it's obviously not. Nico Collins lost targets to Noah Brown last week. Noah Brown just came off of IR. You guys probably don't even know who he is. I picked him up and started him in the league last week because I had to. Nico Collins, very inconsistent, 21% target share. He had one massive game. Here's his wide receiver finishes weekly. I only bring this up because some of you people in the chat do like Nico Collins or asking questions about him earlier. He was wide receiver 3 and 5 in 2 weeks. The rest of the weeks, he was 24, 77, 53, 31. He kills you more often than he helps you. But when he helps you, he wins you leagues.
Well, 24 is, that's a wide receiver too. And I know he had kill you, a 12-point game, but he's had two. He's just not been nearly as consistent as Thielen. I mean, it's just that simple.
And I would like to ride the. I mean, I want to say this. I truly believe Adam Thielen has an expiration date. I don't know when or what week that will be, but I don't think
I want to say
has one.
If you could trade Thielen, it's not a bad idea. But I don't know what, do you want to give up on him? Because he's so good right now.
You ride him out a couple more weeks and then.
But the thing is this conversation's coming up with Thielen because of his age, 33 years old, but we don't bring it up with Mostert. And he's way too efficient right now for his age as well. And no one's talking about trading him high. It's just a bizarro world where Mostert and Thielen are on top of the world, and we're in 2023. It's just wild. Wild. But yeah, that was an easy one for me. This next one is not going to be, it might be easy for you guys, and I didn't even write notes on it. I wanted to go from the heart. This is the only one I didn't prepare for. Kyle Pitts at tight end.
Oh, Jesus.
Or Jonnu Smith at tight end. Same team. One's out targeting the other one. One's actually getting more touchdowns than the other one. Dave, I'm going to start with you again because I know where you're going, but please tell me it's not Pitts.
It's Pitts. Listen, Jonnu Smith is blah. He's getting some points. I don't know what he is. I'm looking at him now. He's scored 5 points more than Pitts. You don't want to start either one. Let me just start with that. I don't want to start either one of them. But I still want the guy that's technically the starter, the guy that's a great, crazy athlete. He's had 2 straight good games. Huh?
You think Jonnu's not the starter?
I mean, I don't know who's getting more targets. I don't know. The guy that's got a reputation that we all drafted in the 4th or 5th round. That's who I would rather have of these two. They have the same amount of points. Pitts is starting to show some signs of life. Maybe Ritter will start actually throwing in the ball. London's actually doing really well. So maybe this stupid QB is let me just throw the ball these studs out there and let them make a play. Sometimes you just got to do that. And that's the case with a lot of QBs. I don't know. If you want me to pick between the two, I'm just taking Pitts just based on the fact that he's had a 1,000-yard season in his past, and he's 5 points behind Jonnu Smith. I really don't want to start either one, but I would start Pitts.
Pitts has 10 whole more snaps than Jonnu Smith, and Jonnu Smith has been more efficient with his snaps. Over the last, I've been on Jonnu Smith since week 2 at this point. I've talked about him almost every week, it feels like. Smith was tight end. He's currently tight end 9. Pitts is tight end 12. Smith started at 26 because they were playing Kyle Pitts and he did nothing. So what does Arthur Smith do? Go to the guy that he had in Tennessee, Jonnu Smith. Now Smith is tight end 5 in the league. Pitts is tight end 8 over the last 3 weeks. That's actually a pretty nice problem to have for Atlanta, to have 2 top tier tight ends. If you're looking on a 12-person team, you need to find a starting tight end. Either of these guys are technically the guy right now. You could start either one of these. I'm leaning more towards Jonnu. He's been a lot more consistent over his only 5 weeks. He got 0 points in week 1, so I don't even know how you can count that. and he still played 50% of the snaps. They're playing equal amount of snap percentages, 55 and 54 respectively. I'm still going Jonnu. He's more comfortable with Arthur Smith's offense. Pitts is not a bad start. I'm not saying he's a bad start. I have both of these guys on in Warrior Bowl, and I actually have to start both of them now because my bench is trash, and it's doing okay.
So pretty much everything Justin just said, I agree with. It's going to be hard for me to sit Kyle Pitts. It really is. If you look at yards per target, Kyle Pitts is sitting at 6.6 yards per target.
You said you cut him like 2 weeks ago, so
I did cut him. I cut him in a league, and guess what? Someone played him against me in the league. I cut him, and guess what? We whooped his ass. We beat his ass down. You want to play Kyle Pitts against me? I'll beat your ass down. I started like a guy who got 1 point. It was awful, but Kyle Pitts, I feel like they're going to transition him more towards the wide receiver role. He is playing a lot more in the snap than Jonnu is, of course, because he is a wide receiver at the tight end position. So I feel like they are going to split him out and whereas Jonnu is going to play more in the traditional tight end spot. So Kyle Pitts is going to be out there. That doesn't change the fact that Jonnu Smith is still outperforming Kyle Pitts week after week, and that doesn't still stop the fact that Jonnu Smith is getting more of a kind of equal target share. I just want Pitts because it's sexy. I do, but I want Jonnu because it's more efficient. But here's my tip. Just draft Kelsey and Hockenson next year, like I did. And I don't have to play the stupid game. I don't have to play the stupid game. I don't have to play the tight end game. I have Kelsey and Hockenson in literally 100% of my leagues, and I don't have to fucking deal with this. So I'm going Jonnu Smith. If you have gunned ahead, Jonnu Smith. Rest of the season, just because I don't believe Kyle Pitts is going to perform where you think he is. And if he does pop off, you could trade him and still keep Jonnu Smith and be good. Dave, I know you disagree. I know. This is going to be a fun one.
I told you. I think they're both blah. So pick one. Which one you want.
Here's the
last one, the main event. Tony Pollard, running back 9. Or Josh Jacobs, running back 11, rest of the season. Dave, Justin, I don't care who goes first. Go.
You can go first.
Josh Jacobs.
What? Are you serious?
Barely.
I thought for sure you go Pollard.
I don't know. See, these are the same. Literally the same guy.
I think so. I think this is that
weeks 1 through 6. All season we're running back 9 versus running back 11. They've flipped their seasons though. The first 3 weeks, Pollard started off as running back 4. The last 3 weeks, he's RB 18. Jacobs, of course, we saw he missed the entire offseason. So coming in very cold, he was RB 25. Now he's RB 5. And I feel like the Raiders offense is starting to get somewhere, even though Jimmy Garoppolo is old and hurt his back again. They both have a tough schedule, 21st and 25th against defenses against the running back for the rest of the season. Again, flip a coin, figure it out, but I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs.
I'm glad you brought up the split because this is very personal to me. In my home league, I traded, I think I told the story on this show, on the second round. I'm sitting here, maybe the third round. I'm looking at because it was Superflex. I'm looking at my sleeper league, and I've had a couple drink skis, whatever, and I'm like, gosh, man, Josh Jacobs Pollard was there. I'm like, Pollard's there? Third round? I wanted Jacobs because I've been getting Jacobs in the third round everywhere. Davey, my buddy, got Jacobs, and so I drafted Pollard. And then I said, man, you really, because he's a big Pollard guy. I'm like, you passed up on Pollard for Jacobs? Like, what's wrong with you, buddy? He goes, I didn't mean to, man. I thought Pollard was taken. I'm like, let's fucking trade right now. Deal. I want Jacobs. And then we made the trade. And I know weeks 1 through 3, he was laughing his ass off because Jacobs, you're right. I wrote down he was running back 25, 10 points per game. It was kind of embarrassing. I was like, my head was in the sand, but I also realized that he didn't have a off season. He didn't go to preseason. He wasn't in camp. So I'm like, he will get better. Weeks 4 through 6, he's been RB5, 19.7. And Pollard's like literally flipped. Now I'm laughing at him watching Pollard just struggle. And I'm like, oh man, we don't know what happened. Pollard is 7th in carries. He has a ton of targets, so I can't read my handwriting. 3rd in targets, 2nd in red zone carries. So Pollard does have that going for him. But Josh Jacobs is number 1 in targets, number 1 in receptions, number 1 in receiving yards. Like, he's basically CMC. at this point. But no one's seeing it. No one's noticing it. I know Dave brought it up earlier in the show.
It's because he plays the Raiders.
Exactly, and he does get all those dump offs. And here's his playoff matchups, Josh Jacobs. Week 14, Minnesota. Whatever. The Chargers, yes, please. Chiefs, scary, but okay. Colts, championship weekend. I know we have to get there, but Colts, week 17, championship week.
At that point, so
they're done at that point. Give me Josh Jacobs, but the Raiders might be done too, so I don't know. Give me Josh Jacobs just for the volume alone. The volume alone is going to be there. I feel like Pollard, he's going to get volume as well, but I feel like they get away from him and they're going to toss the ball with Dak, whereas Jacobs is that offense. Jacobs runs the Vegas Raiders offense, whereas Pollard is just he's just on the back, whereas Dak and all those other guys are carrying it.
This is the second time in 3 seasons that the Raiders have played Indianapolis in week 17 for championship weekend. And the Raiders were out of it. The Colts were, if they win, they're in the playoffs. Spoiler, the Colts lost. Jacobs scored 18 points in that game, and the Raiders, again, were out of the hunt. So I'm taking Jacobs.
Dave, you didn't give an answer.
I think it's Jacobs too, barely. Kind of like what Justin said. It's like flip a coin. Honestly, they're super, super close, but I'd rather have, I guess, the guy that's catching more balls. Pollard's obviously not slouch. You just mentioned all the numbers. I think Dallas is a better offense, so maybe you should go with that guy. Like you said, maybe Vegas is out in a few weeks, towards the end of the season. Maybe, who knows? Like, you never know, but I think I'd take Jacobs slightly. Just flip a coin 100 times. 51 times Jacobs, 49 times Pollard, but slightly take Jacobs.
Well, there we go. That is the show, man. I love these fun debates. I love to switch it up a little bit. I know Dave doesn't like the whole start-sit situation, which, sometimes it can be boring. It's the same thing every week. Start-sit. So we're going to start doing more fun scenarios like this. Just hope you enjoyed it. Guys, make sure you follow the podcast. At OUSFF Pod on Twitter, where Justin's just banging out graphics after graphics after graphics. At Josh Kimmel OUS, at Viking Dave 18, at Justin Barley as well. Fins Talk Sports Network. Guys, I just want to bring this up. Kyler is coming back. That's it. I just wanted to celebrate because I've been holding him in many leagues, many leagues. So
I got him in a few.
Guys, that's it for us. Enjoy your weeks. Hope you win everything. Join our Discord.
Good luck.
Yada yada yada. Justin, get us on out of here, man.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.